The previous sessions have all been devoted to the first section of the Foundations of Mindfulness teaching, which is the section on mindfulness of the body. And there were 6 different practices that we've gone through there. Now we've come to the second of the 4 major sections of the Foundations of Mindfulness, which is called mindfulness of feeling. This is probably not the best English translation, but it is the word that is most often used, feeling or feeling tone. The word in Pali is Vedana with a V. You may sometimes hear it with a W sound, a Vedana, just so that's fine. It's just really a Burmese, you could think of it as a Burmese accent or Burmese way of speaking. That's not a right or wrong. But I just mentioned that in case you hear it so there's no confusion. And what Vedana refers to, it's not feelings in the way we may think about it. We have emotions, we have moods. This is referring specifically to the pleasant, the unpleasant, or in between, which sometimes for shorthand, people will call it neutral. It's not really neutral. It's really neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So all experiences, there's the experience itself, and then it has the aspect of that experience that is pleasant or unpleasant or kind of in between. And so this is a practice to mindfully connect with that aspect of experience. We can actually notice, and the instructions are to notice when an experience is pleasant, we're aware of that. When the experience is unpleasant or in between, we're aware of that. And then it goes on to add a little bit more because they talk about what is called worldly and unworldly or otherworldly experiences. So you can have worldly pleasant and unworldly unpleasant, worldly unpleasant and unworldly unpleasant. And so we notice those things. And it's really, people talk about those in different ways. The way I think about it is quite simple. Worldly pleasant, unpleasant is just the normal way we experience things. But we can get into states of consciousness that are beyond normal, everyday kind of consciousness, and then we can have pleasant and unpleasant experiences there. So that's the way I view it. Other people may have a different take on it. But the main thing is to keep it quite simple. And if you were doing this as a practice, there's a few ways to work with this. If you recall from previous sessions, I spoke about this, the entire Satipatthana can be thought of as prescriptive or descriptive. Prescriptive is prescribing, instructing us on what to do, and descriptive describes how the unfolding can happen. So prescriptive is in the way I was just speaking. You purposely put your attention, you'll feel the experience itself, but you're purposely noticing in addition to the experience. You really want to emphasize noticing that it's pleasant or unpleasant, or we'll call it neutral for shorthand. And so that's one way to approach it. Another way is just by staying with, say, mindfulness of breathing, and the samadhi side, the stability and the calming and the settling of the mind grows. We naturally start to become aware of things on a more and more subtle level. Sometimes maybe a difficult experience arises and we're having the experience and we fall into reactivity. Of course, if we were to ask ourselves, we know that it's unpleasant in this example, but we may not be particularly noticing that. There's just the experience and we fall into reactivity. And the reason that this second foundation of mindfulness, Vedana, is so important, no matter how we're practicing, is what is it that gets us caught in clinging or aversion? It's the clinging is something is pleasant and we're chasing after it or trying to hold on to it more. That's the clinging. On the other hand, if it's unpleasant, we get caught in reactivity, pushing it away, trying to get away from that experience. So we're in a reactive stance. We've lost our equanimity and our balance. So this is why noticing the Vedana can be so liberating. Many times, and you can try this for yourself, once we shine the light of mindfulness on an experience, and then we've gotten more attuned and it's more subtle, we're aware, oh, this is pleasant. That's why I'm chasing it more. Oh, this is unpleasant. And sometimes that's why I'm in this aversion. Sometimes just by having that mindful awareness is enough to cause it to let go, or allow us to at least more able to be present with something in a way that's not in a struggle. It helps us let go of our suffering more. So that's one of the powerful advantages of bringing in the Vedana aspect in however we're meditating. It's actually a very important and foundational aspect that we will bring in. So you can experiment around with consciously bringing it in, or noticing the times on its own when the awareness, oh yeah, this is pleasant, this is unpleasant, just arises in your mind. So different ways to hold that. Again, this is how you can experience internally. This is not talking about experiencing the body internally now. We're experiencing Vedana internally. So internally, what might it mean to experience Vedana externally? That one's a little tricky to me in the context of this. I mean, if you happen to see other people who seem like they're having a really nice or difficult time, then perhaps with others we have to be careful. We don't really know what's going on in other people's experience. Some people have actually said that this text means that you should have psychic abilities. I don't really relate to that very much. It seems like a stretch, but that's up to you. I think most of us, we just can keep it simple about it's an internal experience. Or you can notice the arising and passing away. This is very, very powerful. If you reflect for a moment, now, isn't it true that every experience you've ever had, they change, they don't stay the same? Pleasant, not only the experiences, but the pleasant and unpleasant come and go. They get stronger, weaker. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're gone completely. And so by paying attention, we notice that they don't stick around. They change. This can be very helpful because one of the ways people suffer is when we're having something we really want. The fear can be that it's going to change and we're going to lose it. If it's something difficult, the fear is that it won't change and we won't lose it. So hanging out with Vedana can be your whole practice, really. It can be quite powerful. And then the final way that the standard refrain suggests is, or you can just bring bare mindfulness to whatever the practice is. So you could try this out in some of these various ways and see for yourself how that can help the mind around letting go and non-clinging.